Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Not Your Journey to Take Early Morning Sip and Chat. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are getting your day started. I hope that you are getting your day started with offering gratitude and being thankful and grateful for all that you have, all that you have, all that you are, and all that you will be doing. So on today, we're going to talk about your boundaries that you've set as a goal. So on last week, we set goals as one of our, we set boundaries as one of our goals. I apologize. We set boundaries as one of our goals on last week. So now we are working on implementing or testing the waters with those boundaries. So on last week, it's the new year. We're just getting started in January. We are starting the year with establishing healthy boundaries. So as you're setting your goals for the month, for the quarter, for 6 months, for a year, however way you're doing yours, as you set those goals, I asked you to set a boundary as one of those goals, or a couple of boundaries, right? So if we set a couple of boundaries as those goals this week, we should be implementing those boundaries. But if implementing isn't easy for you, then let's test the waters. Test the waters, right? So let's get started. My name is Keisha Mason Campbell. I am the author of Not Your Journey to Take, and I teach women that no is a complete sentence. I show them how to establish healthy boundaries while putting their needs first. And when you're establishing healthy boundaries, think about everybody that's in your life. You have your spouse, your children, your friends, your parents, right? You have your cousins, other family members. How are you working that out? How are you working that out? Good morning, Tanisha. How are you working that out? So because you have, so many family members and you have so many friends, but you also have yourself first. So I teach you, okay, and I won't stay on long. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you so much. So what we'll do is we're talking about these boundaries. So last week, first week of January, we set goals. And in those goals, I asked you to set a boundary, maybe one or two boundaries as a goal. This week, let's test the waters, right? Different situations will come up. Let's test the waters with those boundaries, right? I teach you that no is a complete sentence. Understand, that's only 2 letters, 1 word, entire sentence. No need for explanation. No need to explain. No need to, get into why your no is no. That's not necessary. 2, I teach you how to establish healthy boundaries with your family members. With the healthy boundaries, you need to understand that you can put you first. And you can lead by example by doing that, because once you put you first, others will soon follow. They will respect it. Right? So this week you should be testing the waters with implementing your boundaries. And you don't have to do it all at once, because if you're not used to it and you don't normally do it, it can be terrifying, right? It can also be pretty scary. And then you could also feel some type of way because of how that response will come back to you, because the response won't be pleasant at first, because people aren't used to that. But you can't help somebody if you haven't helped yourself. We'll go back to the example we've been sharing for the past 10 days. If you've ever been on a plane or watched a movie that has a plane in there, the flight attendant tells you, if the cabin loses air pressure, what do? Put your mask on first and then help everybody else. Same premise is true in life. Same premise is true in life. You can't help anybody if you haven't helped yourself first. Because if you do, you'll be doing it on fumes. And if you're working on fumes, how long is that going to last? It won't last long. Definitely won't benefit you. So learn how to put yourself first, establish healthy boundaries, and learn that no is a complete sentence. And it's okay. Absolutely, Tanisha, you cannot pour from an empty vessel. You cannot. You cannot. If you're drinking water, say I'm drinking this water right here. If this bottle was completely empty, what would I be getting? Absolutely nothing. And that's the same thing that you will be giving to others. And remember, when we do things for people, we want to do it out of love, out of kindness, right? If we're doing it out of love and out of kindness, it won't feel like work. It won't feel like a requirement. And we won't feel like we have to do it because we're doing it because we want to. And there's nothing wrong with helping others. Nothing at all. The problem lies when you're helping others and you haven't taken care of you. That's where the problem lies. So this week, test the waters. Say a few no's. Say a few compromises. Put it out there. Test the waters this week. So those boundaries that we set as goals last week, test the waters this week. Doesn't matter who you test it with. That's right. You can't be doing that stingy help. Absolutely. You cannot. Because it's going to hurt you more than it's helping them. Because you're going to have resentment. Or you're going to be frustrated. Or you're going to be angry. But if you're doing it out of love and kindness, all of that won't even happen. Those feelings won't even come in. Like those feelings won't even set foot in there. Because you're doing it because you want to. You're doing it out of love and out of kindness. And how much of a blessing is that? To do stuff from a place of love and kindness. Because you can. Instead of doing things because you are feeling obligated. Or like I have to. Or like I'm required. It can be the same act that you're doing for someone. But if you're doing it from a place of unhappiness, unfulfillment, you haven't taken care of you first. Hey, Takoya, if you haven't taken care of you first, right? If you haven't taken care of you first, how can you expect to take care of anybody else? Just like Tanisha said earlier, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Like the example when you're on an airplane, the flight attendant says, when the cabin loses air pressure, the masks fall, put your mask on first. Right? If you think about it, if you don't put your mask on first because you want to help somebody else and you put their mask on, you're losing oxygen. If you lose oxygen, what's going to happen to you? They're good because they got on their mask. Why? Because you helped them. But you haven't helped yourself. So as the cabin is losing air pressure, you helping everybody else. The oxygen is low. You have yet to put on your mask. What do you think is going to happen to you? Have you even thought about that? When you lose oxygen, what do you think happens to you? So let's go back to it. When the cabin loses air pressure, the masks fall down. What are you going to do? Are you going to put your mask on first, like you're told? Or are you going to put everybody else's on first? And you'll just deal with it later. Or hope that the oxygen is enough for you to be able to put the mask on yourself after you've helped everybody else. It's not how it works. You put your mask on first, and then you help others. Once you've taken care of you, when you help others, you help them from a place of love and kindness. Not from an empty vessel that requires you to help them and then you're angry. You're upset. You're doing it because you feel like you're required to or that you have to. Although it's the same act, the feeling won't be the same. The response you give to your loved one won't be the same. Your family won't receive it the same. But if you do it out of love and kindness, my gosh, the recipient will be so ecstatic about how you're showing up and how you're helping. But remember, the only way you can show up like that is if you're taking care of you first. So last week, we set a couple of goals. And in those goals, we set a couple boundaries. This week, we're testing the waters with those boundaries. In the comments, whether you're watching me live or watching a replay, in the comments, let me know how you're testing the waters with your boundaries. How's it coming along? How are you feeling? How do you feel about it? Are you feeling uncomfortable? You get that uncomfortable feeling in your stomach when you say, no, not right now, not today, or when you compromise? Let me know in the comments whether you're watching me live or watching the replay. And if you don't feel comfortable putting it in the comments, shoot me a DM. That's fine. Either way, we can talk about it. But test the waters with your boundaries. It can be family. It can be friends. It can be coworkers. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Setting boundaries are for you to take care of you. Doesn't matter who you set them with, who you set them for, or who, where, or why you implement your boundaries. Doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, you're doing it for you. Because once you've taken care of you, you can take care of others. And you can bless them with helping them from a place of love and kindness. Not out of obligation, not out of feeling like you're required. You're doing it because you want to. And that's okay. And again, it can be the very same act. The very same act. But it's how you're pouring out. How you're giving. And from a place of love and kindness, it's a great place to give. A great place to pour from. And people will receive it different. So our task for the rest of this week, we got 4 more days left in this week. So let me know, how are you testing the waters with your boundaries? You don't have to go all in. You don't have to treat everybody the same. You don't have to just go all in and set these boundaries and boom, boom, boom. Because boundaries are not walls. They're not walls. You're not putting up walls so that people can't come in. We don't do that because we love. We love. So you're not putting up walls. You're just setting boundaries. Boundaries are usually right here. So that way they can still see you. You can still see them. And you can still help. It's just sometimes it won't always be a yes. And it won't always look like what they want it to look like. But you'll feel good. Right? So no walls. No walls. Because walls cut off everything. We're just setting a boundary. We're right here. You can say yes. You can say no. But whatever it is you taking care of you first. And then opening up the doors for everybody else. When and how you want to. And then you're helping them from a place of love and kindness. I hope that everybody is getting their day started. Thank you for joining me for Not Your Journey to Take Early Morning Sip and Chat. I hope that you will have a super fantastic day on purpose. Thank you for joining me. My name is Keisha Mason Campbell. I am the author of Not Your Journey to Take. I teach women that no is a complete sentence, and I show them how to set healthy boundaries with families, all while putting their needs first. Thank you for joining me, and again, have a super fantastic day.